have so many dream journals from the past, but I've been slacking lately. I got to be honest. I can't lie, and I will get back on it for sure. Especially because for the last like year, I've really been getting into all this, and it's really bringing it all back so much. Um, Yo, Brian, see if you can request. There should be a little thing in the bottom left corner for you. When you click on that, I'm not exactly. I forget what it for the other first person. I'm gonna send you another request. Hopefully it works. Okay, we got it. Beautiful.
We're good. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can. You sound great.
Cool.
Very cool. Okay. Yeah, we can. I usually got to get myself focused better because it acts weird. You're good.
That looks all right to me.
Okay. Beautiful. How you doing, man?
Yeah, good. Good. Yourself?
Very good. Good. Very good. I'm sorry I was so late and things always take longer than I want them to.
No, that's all right. I was hanging on to like 2 o'clock anyway. Just because obviously you do your show at 9, so I thought best keep it getting the same for you. Make it again. It's like a one-off for me, so
Nice.
it's not bad. I can get through it.
Yeah, yeah, man. That's great. I appreciate it very much. I really do. I know you're busy, man. It looks like with the way you're going with all your content, like you're a busy person. I see you putting up a lot.
Yeah, it's well, it's all stuff I've had in my head for years, really. So it's just getting it all out there, to start with. Obviously, as time goes on, it'll slow down and become more kind of like once a week, twice a week kind of thing. But initially, just try to make that initial impact as well. You know, obviously know yourself what it's like. Try to start things up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's a lot. It is. So okay, so I'm curious, just if you want to tell the people your name and like your channel and where you come from.
Cool. Right. Well, my name's Brian. So I'm from Scotland. My channel's DreamKeeper. You can see it there in the background. It's just on YouTube. So basically from Scotland, like my main profession, I'm like a carpenter, like a woodworker.
Wow, okay.
So and just kind of living the normal kind of Scottish life, I suppose. Just like usual, nothing out of the ordinary or that. Just obviously got like my family, my daughter, stuff like that.
Interesting. So you're another working man. I respect that. My dad's a carpenter. That's what I grew up doing with him as well.
Cool.
I respect that profession a lot.
Yeah, I really loved the woodworking and that. Like I had like that's like why my other stuff. Like I called it timber punk. So it was like I did all the traditional kind of woodworking stuff, but timber punk was more me kind of expressing myself. Kind of like the kind of artistic side of woodworking and all kind of cool, like unusual stuff and. That's part of the reason why I got into the spiritual stuff as well, because I made like a lot of stuff for people and they were saying it was quite spiritual stuff. It was like incense burners and just all kind of cool stuff, and a lot of people were saying that. They were like, it's quite what you do is quite spiritual kind of thing. And I was like, I never even thought of it. And they were even saying like it's like a form of meditation. It's like creative meditation, like when I'm making stuff, because I just like zone out and just start making stuff. So it was quite interesting, and obviously it's led me down this kind of journey, down this path to where I'm at with this.
I love it. There's definitely something to it. There's something to putting your intention and your love and your focus into something like that, giving it that energy for sure.
Aye. It does. Gives you a lot of like pride and satisfaction as well.
My
Uh,
my dad is loving this conversation.
yeah, aye. Well, he'd be the same. It's when you make something, especially with your hands,
Hmm.
and like you see people using it or they appreciate it. Maybe it was they really needed it done. It was really handy for them, so
Yeah,
people appreciate what you do and stuff. It's just a good sense of achievement for yourself. Like it's something physical that you can like see, and you can say,
right.
"Well, I made that," kind of thing. So, and
Oh,
if you're any good, it'll last for a long time, kind of thing.
oh yeah.
Uh, so it's all good that way. Like it's quite passionate about it, and that is like quite passionate in general about stuff that I do, kind of thing.
Interesting. I love it. I wonder, did you do that work behind you there?
Yeah.
I got
So
yeah.
this has been quite a good thing for me. It was so most of it is like AI. Can I like see the logo? It was
Okay,
like an AI
yeah,
like photo creator, and same with the thumbnails on the YouTube because like it's handy because it's like it's not copyrighted or anything because it's like a unique picture
yeah.
that
Right.
like the AI created it, but I've told it what to create, kind of thing. Plus, it was a real, although I'm quite artistic in that, and I do like draw and sketch and stuff. I'm not like a like really good at it kind of thing. So
I
it's
saw
been
that.
good. It's been good to use it because it lets me create like stuff in my mind. I can make it into a picture like
Mhm.
basically instantly. So it's been great for this because like I can basically take all this stuff in my mind and it makes it like real kind of thing. Well, a picture. So it's been good that way. But I've designed it and that, and like I say, I'm not very too good at like video editing or stuff. Like I've watched a few of your videos, and you're really good at. You've got all this stuff like going on.
Not really, but thank you.
Well, you're better than me anyway. So because I'm not really, believe it or not, I'm not really into like the kind of technical side of stuff. Like I
I'm
had to
horrible, man.
see like even making a video like of me talking. Like I've never really made a video of me talking
Right.
ever until I started this like about just over a month ago. So
Wow.
I think I'm doing all right like
I'm
that way.
doing crazy good, honestly. So what inspired the Dreamkeeper? Where did that name come from? If you want to talk to the people a little bit about that.
Right. So the Dreamkeeper again, it was it was kind of like like sometimes I get kind of like visions or I just kind of like feel stuff and it was like with this it was drawn like so I drew it kind of thing and what it was it was like a guy in like a white hooded cloak and he was standing like in a stone circle and I don't know if it was like channeling it through me or something like that but whatever it was it kind of stuck with me and I drew it. It's in one of my videos and it was like a guy with a white cloak on, the hood up, but he never had any face. It was like a shadow face.
Right.
I
Right.
was looking at it and I was like, what do I call that? Like, what do I call this? Like, so I was like, Dreamkeeper came to my mind.
I love it.
And then it spiraled from there into what I'm doing now. And I thought that was pretty cool how me and you stumbled across each other because of the name as well. Uh, like you've obviously been using it for years and years kind of thing, so it means
Yeah.
something to you as well. And for me, it just kind of came to me. It was no, I've never even thought about it before. It's not something like
Yeah.
before with my other stuff, like with Timber Punk. I kind of thought about that name for a while and
Right.
kind of came up with that. But with Dreamkeeper, it just kind of came to me, kind of thing, just with the picture that I drew. And then it just went for there. Like,
Yeah, that's it is interesting. You know, it came from somewhere, and I also noticed how in your videos, I only have to kind of mention this because of the sake of synchronicity sometimes, but like you were talking about Metatron's cube in your one video.
Yeah,
And, I know when I brought up Metatron in past videos, most of my listeners weren't too familiar with it, and I did a really sloppy job of explaining it. And I'm gonna do a video on the platonic solids, and that's gonna lead up into Metatron's cube. So I'm gonna do that to clarify it for some people. But I thought it was really interesting that you had mentioned Metatron and or Metatron's cube, and you had also talked about the figure that you saw, and I used to talk to Metatron in my dreams. What's known as Metatron, or the Archangel
yeah.
Metatron. And I wonder if that character, may have been a form of that being in some way, or inspired by in some way subconsciously. I don't know.
See, I'm not really sure because like Metatron's cube, it's not something I really know much about either. I was speaking to somebody and they were on about it, and they were obviously telling me it was like an archangel and that, and I've actually got like tattoos, like Gabriel and Michael and that like on me kind of thing. So that's how we got talking about it. And then when I was just looking at the like just the kind of design of it, and then it got me thinking. And I've seen stuff in the past about the like hexagon or hexagram that's on Saturn, the North Pole of Saturn and stuff like that, and how that it symbolises like the black cube, and then that got me down the road because I'm quite knowledgeable like historical wise.
I can tell.
History stuff.
Yeah.
So it kind of led me down a path. But I'm going to make another video about Metatron's cube. Quite interesting. I'll not give too much away, but I think it could all just be nonsense. But it's just what I think about it, just for looking at it, and just for like kind of what I make it basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the basis of it all makes perfect sense fundamentally, and then it could be interpreted and taken in so many directions, and it's interesting. And you're obviously knowledgeable enough to know these things, but then you're really intuitive. I could like listening to your videos. I could tell you're going off of mostly feelings and ideas, but you do these little thought experiments with yourself while you're talking. And I think a lot of times you come to some really, really solid conclusions that are more verifiable than a lot of people might realize. And you're just rolling off the top of your head. That's why I really enjoy your videos, actually. I think I wouldn't change your structure, is all I'm saying. Like, if you could do some structured, scripted videos if you want, of course. But in my opinion, like, predominantly what you should focus on, what you've been doing is really unique, and it's like I enjoy it. It's like traveling through a dreamscape while you're talking, even if you're not talking about a dream, just with your ideas. It's really good, man. You do great.
I appreciate that. That means a lot. It's when I started that, like obviously I watch YouTube and that, and a lot of the creators and the videos, everything's like edited and it's all fast paced and there's pictures flying in and stuff. And for me, like I don't know how to do that anyway. Like I'm not technical like that, but to me, I quite like just getting on camera and just saying what's in my head and just rolling with it kind of thing. And that's probably what you've seen, that I start somewhere and then I kind of work through it and then I come to like a conclusion at the end kind of thing. And it's probably like my brain works. Like I just go with it rather than have it all structured and set out and all edited and cut and this and that. So I probably will just stick with that kind of setup because I'm quite obviously like you're appreciating it, and I think hopefully other people will as well. It's a bit different for what it's a bit like your live videos. Like it's no edited and cut and all this. It's just you just talking,
Right.
just like a kind of thing. So I think it's quite a good thing. Like, it's a bit different.
Yeah, man. There's something organic that a good organic feeling, because we're all wrapped up in this technological era. But any sense of organic, that anything that we can feel, is refreshing, I think, to the human spirit. And there is something organic about that. I got to shout out Aaron, because homie is here watching, and Aaron's the man. If anyone wants to ask any questions as we go through, just throw them up in the comments. I'll try to read them, and I'm sorry if I ignore you. So the DreamKeeper, we see where that came from, and then what exactly inspired your channel, and what is your hope for the future of the channel, and what you're doing here?
Right. So there's kind of, it was basically like, I'd say since, like, I've always had dreams and stuff. Not so much visions or anything like that, because I've never really meditated before, but I'd normally have them just before I go to sleep, because like, it's almost like I'm meditating, so I'm relaxed, and then when I shut my eyes I can see things. So I've always had the dreams, and I've always kind of had the visions, but I've never really looked into them or went any further with it. But just before like the pandemic, I had like a really vivid dream, and it was like the girl with the blue hair. Like, I've got it in one of my videos, and that's what set off me thinking about all this kind of dreams and stuff. Because in the dream, like, I met a girl in it, and like I felt like I knew her in the dream, but I didn't actually know her. It's not like somebody from real life or that. And like there was nothing against her, but the feeling in the dream was, it was like a bad feeling, like anxiety and doom and stuff. Like, it wasn't like a good feeling, but it kind of stuck with me, and I was talking to people at work about it, because it was quite strange. Because like, I didn't know, like, it's not somebody I know, and then like, they were in my dream, so I was like, how could they be in my dream if I didn't know them? Again, it was strange.
Right.
And then the blue hair, and then it was literally like a few months later, the pandemic happened, and then lots of women about here were all dyeing their hair blue, kind of thing. So it was like getting nuts, like, because it was like a noticeable like thing. That wasn't just one or two women; it was like lots and lots of women were all dyeing their hair blue. And I was like, that is pretty mad, like pretty strange. And also I made the connection with
Premonition.
that. It was quite like that. It was like, it was really strange kind of thing, and it did kind of stick with me. And then obviously, like like a few years have passed since then, but then I've started like obviously thinking about it more and looking into it more, and then I've spoke to a few people, and they were quite interested in it, and then I would say other dreams and other visions, and then somebody was saying maybe I should like try and actually like if I hear a dream, like write it down, that way I don't forget it, and then I can like see what it means. And then with the visions, we were like, actually try and do it kind of thing, and see what you see. And it's been quite strange how many things that I've seen that's quite relevant and stuff. So it was all kind of spiraling. It was almost like like I say, I've always had them and like that, but recently it was like a switch went off kind of thing, and it's been very clear. So that's what's kind of led me to think, well, I want to kind of document this, and I want to see like if anybody else kind of experiences things like that. And obviously when like I was like, well, I'll make a YouTube channel kind of thing, and just go from there, because like it's quite like an interactive kind of setup, because it's like a video. So like people can watch it and they can get your kind of feeling from it better than like a post or something.
Right.
So more like personalised kind of thing. And then that's kind of, like I say, it's only just, I think it was like round about the start of February that I created the channel, and then it's just went for there.
You got a lot on there. You do.
But I'm enjoying it. Like, it's good, and I've seemed to be meeting, obviously, like I've been in touch with you, and I've been in touch with other folk just through it, and it's been quite an interesting and positive like journey. And like I thought at first, because it's a bit strange for like, especially where I stay, if people start talking about visions and dreams and all that, people are just like, what's going on with you, kind of thing.
Right. That's how we all feel.
Aye. But
I felt the same way.
most people have been positive about it. I've been quite surprised how positive it's all been, and people are kind of like saying good for you and like go for it and stuff, and that's basically it. But there's also the other side of the channel is the kind of nature walks, and the meditation. So because I was unsure to mix it all together kind of thing, but it's to me it's all connected because it's all good, it's all relaxing. There's good stuff that I can, or anybody else can meditate to, or like try and have visions. And I'm lucky where I stay. I've got lots of nice places round about me and stuff, and it's good for my mental health and stuff. So I've just kind of put it all together, and it gets me out and about and stuff. So there's that side to the channel as well. So
I saw those. I love them. They're beautiful. Some of those spots are unbelievable. It's like a dream, honestly. I love it.
I'm lucky in Scotland because this is obviously how it ties in as well. The weather's not been great, so I've not been able to do as much, but there's lots of like stone circles about here. There's lots of like kind of ancient places. There's lots of history. So to me that all kind of fits in and ties in with what I'm kind of talking about and dreaming about, and so I'm going to keep it as like just that. Like I'm just going to keep it like the 3 playlists: the meditation, the dreams, the visions, the theories,
perfect,
and the nature walks. That'll be like what I'm doing then.
Perfect. And 3 is a good number.
Aye. Well, that's the other crazy thing. The 369. That's how you'll see it at the end of my handle. The DreamKeeper, the 369, the key to the universe and stuff. Because I'm going to do a video on that. I thought that was quite interesting. Where, like 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 6 is 12, 1 plus 2 is 3, 9 plus 9 is 18,
right?
1 plus is 9, all that kind of. It's like Nikola Tesla goes on about it and stuff. And
nine is another. I mean, we could spend hours just talking about any one of those numbers individually. That's the crazy part. But there's something to it for sure.
Definitely.
And man, the dream community online, because I've only been doing this for about a year. Because the DreamKeeper name, I've always made music. I'm a rapper, so like that's what I always call myself, DreamKeeper. My initials are DK. But I've only been really reaching out to like the online dream community for about a year, a little over a year now. And there's so many great people out there, and the feedback really has been great. The community's just cool. I haven't dealt with any nonsense, honestly. No trolls or nothing. Everyone's really, really cool.
I've not really had. It's mostly like I had a few comments on what do you call them, the shorts, getting the shorts, but that goes out to everybody kind of thing. And it's like, I just kind of laugh at it because I'm not really bothered anyway. But apart from that, most of it's just all positive. Everybody's quite interested in it, and like people just enjoy watching it kind of thing. And so I totally get what you're saying. Like it seems like a good community. It is an interesting subject, and it's maybe one that people don't talk about enough. So they probably enjoy like people like me and you talking about it, and try to share it with people. And
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's definitely not oversaturated. If anything, it's a minority. I think the world needs more of this, and people need to think about and study dreams a lot more.
yeah,
You know, dream practices should be a lot more common.
uh,
So,
I mean, if you think about it, it's basically half your life, or just under half your life you're sleeping, or whatever, Ken, or like you're sleeping a lot of your life, so it's quite a big part of your life. And if you're
yeah,
sleeping, dreaming, so it's worth looking into and talking about and studying and just getting a discussion going about it, because like most people, I'd say everybody's had a dream, so
everyone dreams.
Ken, aye, so everybody, it's something everybody can like get involved in because everybody's experienced it. So
For sure.
even like you say, you don't need to be some kind of expert or anything like that. It's just you, because it's all personal as well. It's personal to like every individual kind of thing. So
Right.
just you
Right.
explain what you think kind of thing, and yeah, so it's like there's no kind of, what would you call it? No kind of barriers for people to get involved. It's basically just sharing your experience.
Right. Yeah, the biggest issue I think is that most people just don't remember their dreams. But you
Uh,
can easily train. Anyone can learn to remember their dreams. They say, I know it's a very vast overgeneralization, but based on if someone sleeps 8 hours every night and they live for about 80 years, I think it was, if you do the math, they spend that about 6 years of their life in REM sleep, rapid eye movement stage. So
like,
everybody spends at least 6 years of their life, give or take, in that dream state. Now, we also know that you dream outside of REM, different types of dreams, Like you were saying, when you first fall asleep, there's those hypnagogic dreams that you have, and those are kind of different, but it's dreams. People dream when they're in deep sleep, and they dream in REM. So, and a lot of people spend more than 8 hours sleeping sometimes, and people spend many years of their life dreaming. Is my point,
aye,
and it's all time that you could be consciously exploring and learning, and even if just having fun, and you will learn in the process, and you'll learn more about yourself.
yeah. There is, to me, it's fascinating. Like I've always thought about it, and I've came up with like mad theories and stuff. Like it's obviously nobody knows, but to me, like these are things that I kind of like thing around my mind and think about. Like, what if like you're this like we're dreaming now, then when you go to sleep, that's you waking up in the real world or the other world, and things like that. Maybe it's
Yeah,
true, maybe it's not, but it's fascinating just to think about it and just explore kind of these ideas, because at the end of the day it's consciousness, isn't it? So it's like it's a bit like what happens when you die, I suppose, like or what it was like before you were born. That's what people say, like what happens to you when you die, and you could say, well, the same thing that happened to you before you were born.
yeah,
Again, it's like you're just like a consciousness that's like forever kind of thing, and when you're sleeping, that could just be you switching onto a different part of it, so it could all be real. Like we call it dreams and say that it's not real, but who's to say that it's no? Again, it's that's what I like about it. It's fascinating. There's so much,
right,
and I don't think there's enough kind of, like, I suppose there has been studies on it and that, but no like to like a, like there's no like a solid conclusion, I wouldn't say. Uh, and even like you say, just dreams, it could be like signs and stuff, giving you like premonitions or
right,
signs, like
right.
for your awake life and stuff, and like there's just lots and lots to it.
Yeah, there's so many theories. There's scientific theories, there's esoteric theories, there's philosophical theories, and there's the famous quote, and I've mentioned it before, by the ancient Chinese philosopher. He said, am I a butterfly dreaming of being a man, or was I a man dreaming of being a butterfly? Because he had a very vivid dream of being a butterfly in the field. And
That, that.
I think most people can agree or most people have experienced dreams that are hyper realistic. Like sometimes when you're in a vivid dream, it seems more real than this waking reality. And,
Yeah.
And there's reasons for that, because you're not limited just by all these physical senses. You have heightened senses in those dreams. You have the power of the mind to absorb all of it. That's what makes it so hyper real. But I'm curious, how often do you lucid dream, and do you have any notable lucid dreams, and have you practiced becoming lucid in your dreams?
No, I've not really. It's not something I've really practiced or that, and it's really just kind of random now for me. I think because I'm no kind of practicing it, it's just like some nights I'll just have like normal dreams, or what I would call normal dreams, just all kind of random. Other nights like profound dreams, but I've never really looked into how to do it, again, how to have like lucid dreams, or how to train yourself to have them.
You're definitely connected enough, and you're involved enough to where you would be able to, like you said, flip the switch in you. You'll be able to flip that switch, and once you do, I think you're going to be really gifted with that. And there's lots of simple techniques. Different things work for different people, but I'll be making videos about that, and I'll definitely, and you can look it up, and I'll be sharing links about that. There's lots of ways to make yourself become lucid, and I think you would definitely enjoy that for sure.
Aye, it's definitely something I'm going to need to look into, and like practice, I suppose, or hone in my kind of skills on it, or that. And
I think it'll come naturally for you. I mean, yeah, work on it a little bit, and don't think you'll have any issues.
aye, because the dreams that I have had that are like that I've made videos about, the ones that really stood out, they're quite like symbolic and prophetic kind of thing. Like it's not just like your usual. I mean, like there was the girl with the blue hair. There was the eagle. It was like a big eagle swooping down, and it had like feathers, white feathers in its like claws, and it was like giving us them. And then there's one I'm going to do. It was a dream I had last week. It was like a big massive bull, and it was like protecting like a white horse and like the horse's foal, like the baby horse kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
It's unusual because it's no stuff that I would really think about or anything like that in general.
Right.
And it's symbolic when even just saying them, like the eagle with the white feathers and the white horses and the bull, and it's quite profound stuff. So it's like it obviously means something, because it, like, I don't even think I've ever seen a white horse in real life or that. So it's no, again, it's not, there's horses all running about here, and that's why it's on my mind. Like I've never even thought about it or anything else. So it's definitely something I would like to. If I could have more of them, I'd be quite interested to see where it took me. Like,
yeah, there's also techniques to recreate dreams. To create reoccurring dreams, to try to enter back into dreams that you had previously.
I've done that before as well. Like it's almost like having a dream, and then like where it ends, and you can go back in and continue on. Like it's not like the next night, but it could sometimes be months later, and then once you're back into it, like you can remember straight away that that was this dream, and this is what's happening now, which is pretty cool.
Right. Have you had dreams where in that life, in that dream, you had memories of your life in that dream? I'm curious, because have. I've talked about it in past videos. I felt like I lived almost a whole lifetime in my dream. You know, I had memories and connections with people.
I would say that, like, I have, but it's no ones that I can remember.
Right.
It's like, remember when I'm having the dream, but it's no ones that I can
Right.
remember.
No, I know what you mean. Me too. I don't recall my memories from that dream, but I remember when I was in it, I had the memories of my past life. You know, I feel yeah, but yeah, same here. I don't specifically remember. I didn't carry those memories over with me, but I know I had memories. You know, at that time.
It sounds the same then. So it's like when you're in the dream, you feel like a bit like you're the now. Like I'm here and I know like what happened before, and like in this life, it's just the same, but in a dream, and obviously it's a different setting. But you know that there's a past and
Right.
memory stuff, and so I totally understand what you're saying. Now it's hard to explain
It
because
is.
when you wake up, it's not like you can remember all the memories, but when you're in the dream, it feels like familiar, and you've got the memories and that kind of thing. So I would say, like, I have not, like, again, not in every dream or anything. I think that was another reason for me breaking up the channel with talking about interesting stuff and the other videos, because like I don't hear these dreams every night,
Right.
so like I wouldn't hear enough stuff just to make stuff about dreams kind of thing. But it does, to be fair, it does seem to be happening more and more recently. But like I wouldn't, like I say, I didn't hear them every night. So
Yeah, me too, man. The more you focus on it, the more prominent it becomes. You know, pretty crazy, actually.
I,
Wow. Do you keep a dream journal?
I, I do, like, it's not really well, I suppose it is a dream journal, but it's just like a notepad, and
Right.
I basically just write, like, I basically sum up the dream in like a title, I suppose, a few words,
Okay.
and then by that allows me to remember, because like you'd probably be the same, like if I wake up straight away, most times, like sometimes I can't remember anything, but
Right.
a lot of the time I can remember. And if I write like something down, then I'll always remember what most of the dream was about. But if I don't, then I'll probably forget it within an hour. So
Right.
I don't need go into like lots of details. I just need like a few kind of key words, and then that'll let me remember like the gist. Yeah.
I get that. Yeah, you could put the title and it can bring the dream back.
Aye.
But I would recommend, man, getting as much detail as you can, only because, and you know, I talked to someone like Justin Anthony. He might even be watching right now. I interviewed him before, and he said he doesn't write his dreams down at all because the important ones that stick out to him, he'll never forget. You know, and and I get that too. But still, I learned from going through my old dream journals from years ago. I got years and years of these dreams built up. Sometimes the ones where I did go into more detail, I surprised myself. You know, there's been times where I had like deja vu. I had deja vu in the kitchen, and I explained it in great detail. The only reason that I knew that it was a dream was because I was reading over my dream journal, and I was able to bring that dream journal into the person that I was working with at the time, you know, and I'm like, you know, I was like, I had deja vu, but this is something I had a dream about, and I could prove it, you know. I brought my dream journal in, and I was, and like all the details were there. You know, like that person that was in the deja vu experience, I didn't know that person when I had the dream, and I had it written down and dated, but he was in the dream, standing at the sink doing the dishes. And
Well, sure.
so I'm just throwing that out there, you know.
Aye.
Crazy.
Because I have deja vu quite a lot as well. but I've obviously never thingied it into a dream, that's really interesting. That you've obviously basically if I'm understanding right, you've had a dream like
Yeah,
years ago or whatever, a while ago,
yeah,
and then then you've had deja vu, and then that's actually been the dream you've had. So you basically you've dreamt the future kind of thing, I suppose. Is that?
yep. Premonition or
I
precognitive. They call it precognitive dreaming.
Right. I know that's really cool, really interesting. That. So you're right. Like it probably is worth writing all this down as much detail as I can. There's no there's no doubts about it kind of thing. The more details, the better. It's obviously just why you either forget or you don't do it, and it's like you've to get up and get on with life kind of thing. So you don't always do it, but it is the way forward, because if you've got that, like you say, then you can look back on it as well and stuff. And I suppose that's why, in a way, what I'm doing with the videos too, because I'm documenting, and then I can look back and I'll be able to see like the journey kind of thing, and if it's all connected or if it's just random kind of thing.
Yeah, patterns. Yeah,
because I think that like if you've been doing it for like a while, I don't know if you've been able to see any kind of patterns or anything, but
big time.
Aye. So it's definitely interesting because that's what it's about. It's like that's what the journey is about, trying to stitch it all together and work it out and see what it means. So to do that, you do need to document it in some kind of way.
Right.
Totally agree with you. Like,
yeah, your videos are great for that, honestly. And when I first started doing my dream sessions, it was literally one of the first few episodes. I mentioned that. I said maybe if I read my dreams out here on video, it'll be another way to document it. Now I haven't done that, but honestly, you're doing it, and I mean you're killing it. So like that, it's amazing, and I'm curious to see. And then other people can study the patterns in your dreams too, not just you. There's someone I have on here, Chelsea Turpin Coxey. She's a dream analyst coach, and I'm definitely gonna you gotta check her stuff out. You're gonna like it. But she says how every dream is just one small piece of a puzzle, and in order to put the puzzle together, you kind of need to have a collective body of dreams to get a more broad understanding of what they're trying to tell you, or whatever, just to get a broad understanding of it, So you're right. There's something to that.
I know I suppose you could look at like a jigsaw, and what we're doing is we're just collecting each piece as we go along, and then at the end of it, or if there is an end of it, or that, then you'll have enough pieces to make a picture, kind of thing. So I totally understand what she's saying. Totally get that.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. The way you're going about it, even with the videos, is really cool. I've been bad with keeping up with the comments, so hello to everyone, and I'm sorry. Sorry, sometimes I get in the conversation, and it's tough for me to see the comments anyway. So.
No, it's that I'm not used. This is the first live kind of thing I've done ever, so it's on you to me. So I'm just been rolling with it. If you've watched the videos, I just kind of wing it and just go with whatever's happening. So
I love it.
But hi everybody as well. I don't think I even says hi to anybody or that.
Okay. We'll get most of the views in the replays in the next few days and weeks anyway. And but this is great. And I'm gonna get a better program to go live on multiple platforms, and we can even go live on YouTube. We'll do it. This is where my community's at the moment, and this is where they expect it. And I kind of built this momentum, so I don't want to lose this. No, I do. I look towards better stuff for the future for sure.
It's thing with anyway with the YouTube, like also I've never like I've watched it, but I've never even had an account or anything till the DreamKeeper account. So it's all new to me as well. But the live, like I can go like live, but on like my laptop. I can't do it on my phone. I think you need to be on it for 3 months before you can do it on your phone. But the video is no great. I did a live video, but the quality wasn't great and all that anyway. So I'm not in any kind of rush to do anything like that anyway, Ken. But obviously with your community, I totally get that. Like I did the same with my timber punk. I had like a Facebook page. Well, I still have a Facebook page and an Instagram. And I've put years and years and years into that. I've been doing that since like 2018. So it's like you don't want to lose all that. But it's always found that with timber punk, because like I had Facebook for years. That's what I did. I made it on. Then they brought out Instagram. Then they brought out like I don't know, TikTok, and it's like to me it's too much when you start jumping around and you have to post everything and all these different things, and it takes the fun out of it kind of thing. Whereas like what you're saying, you've got your Facebook page, you've got your community, you're just doing it on the one thing, everybody's there and people are seeing it and enjoying it. So I totally get what you're saying. Hopefully that'll be what I'm like on YouTube. That's how like I set up the YouTube page. I've made an Instagram, but I'm fed up with it already because I can't be bothered posting things on YouTube and then doing it on Instagram and again. So I'm just like, I'll just stick with YouTube and that's what I'll do kind of thing, because that's the video platform anyway. So that's what's working for me. So that's where I'll be kind of thing. But I'm happy to come on as well on like this. It's worked all right. It looks good.
Yeah, you know, and YouTube's the best for monetization too. They treat their creators the best too, so it's a good one.
That's like another part of my goal with it is to get it monetized. Like I know it could take a few years or whatever to build that up, but that's the goal, because I'd love just to talk about the stuff and share it with people, and obviously, if I could get paid for doing that, then that's the goal kind of thing.
Same thing.
Aye. So it's to me, it's a good way, because you're providing content and that, and it's interesting for people, and people are enjoying it. And so it works for everybody. Basically, everybody's getting something out of it, and that would be my goal. But like I say, it could take years. I don't know, but the channel went, like I say, it's only really been just over a month, and I've went for like nothing basically, because even a lot of people I know, it's not like they've all subscribed, because a lot of people are not bothered about it kind of thing. Like they encourage me and go for it, but they don't know why to sit and watch it every week or whatever. So you'll be the same.
Yeah.
So it's went from 0 to like 90 just over a month, and then again, so like I'll just keep building on it and stuff,
Yeah.
Just as well, just build it up and keep going, That's the goal.
Can't go wrong with it, you know.
Aye.
You can't go wrong. It's good. It's good in every way. So, someone has a question. Didi, she asked, "Do you have dreams of past lives, or do you have flashes of the past while being awake? And how do you know they're dreams of past lives?" When it happened to her, she was wide awake.
I'm not really sure about dreams of past lives or that. Like I say, I've had dreams where it's almost like a different life, where it's like what we were saying earlier, like it's like not like a recurring dream, but it's like the same. I don't know. It'd be like in the real life where like this is happening, but I can remember what happened last week, and like then stuff will happen in the future. So it's like that in a dream. So it's not really like a past life. It's almost like a different life. And there was one where I met somebody in my dream and then met them in real life. Like I didn't know who it was at the time, and then I've met them in my real life. Like it was a few years later. So, but I've not really dreamt to like. It's hard to say because I've never wrote them down, but I'm not really sure. I couldn't say that I have to be honest. Is what I'd need to answer.
Yeah, I've had dreams of being in bodies that were in the past. I never personally felt like, oh, this is me in a past life. I always felt like, like I've dreamed of being alive during the Native American times and stuff like, and maybe I personally never felt like it was a past life, but I just didn't look at it that way. I felt like I was tuning into something that may have previously happened. But Elaine said, I dream of myself as my younger self every day. That's very, very common. Actually, when I asked people to look in the mirror in their dreams, I did a little experiment online and had a bunch of people that claim that they lucid dream. I asked them to look into mirrors when they're dreaming. And one of the most common things that people saw in their dreams was a younger version of themselves. I thought that was interesting.
All right. Aye. Oh, that was pretty interesting.
It makes sense because you spent, we all kind of get an image of ourselves, and if that's the image that you hold of yourself, mostly subconsciously, that might be the image that keeps coming back to you. I don't know.
I think I've ever looked in a mirror in a dream.
Try it.
I maybe keep that in my mind because I think that would be pretty interesting to see, because that's a reflection of yourself in the dream. So I think that would be pretty interesting to happen in a dream, because I've always experienced it kind of differently. Like it's almost that like I'm above and I can see myself, but it's like you're. But it's strange because it's like I know that's me and I'm seeing it through like me through my eyes, but I can also feel like I'm detached as well and viewing everything.
Right. Okay, so I have to ask because I'm curious, and if you have time, and whenever you're ready, I know it's very late for you, so just let me know, man. I respect your time very much, and I hope to get you on more in the future. But because these things, I could talk for days about this. But I want to know, so when you were doing that, do you feel like you were having an out-of-body experience? And if so, do you think there's a difference between an out-of-body experience or astral projection and lucid dreaming? How do you feel about all that?
I don't. What would you like? I know what an out-of-body experience is. How would you describe the other two?
Astral projection is a type of out-of-body experience, and what they believe is that your astral body, or you could call it like your spirit, or the lighter version of you, they believe that separates from the physical body and enters into the astral realm. And the astral realm, from what they say, is just a one vibration higher than this physical world, just outside of our perception, and it's where a lot of other esoteric things go on. And they say you're attached to your body, and there actually goes really deep. But basically, astrally projecting is projecting your astral body outside of yourself, and people vibrate to a high enough frequency to where they can turn around and see themselves. So that's what they say, at least.
I would say that as well. I would say, yeah, because like I say, it's almost like it can be both at the same time, which is quite strange. So it's like I can see what I'm seeing, like as I'm now looking at you, but I'm also above, looking at me and looking at everything. So it's like a separation, but it's happening at the same time. So it is like being two places at once kind of thing at the same time. It's quite a strange experience, but it happens quite a lot in like my dreams. So it's like a normal feeling. It doesn't feel unusual when it's happening. It's like you're basically in two places at the same time, I suppose. I would describe it.
Yeah, quantum theory definitely supports the possibility of that.
Well, just as I was saying that I was thinking about that. It's like is it neutrons that can be in two places at the same time and stuff?
Lots of subatomic particles. Yeah, they call it superposition. And yes, they're in every possible position they can be in all at the same time. And then
somebody's viewing them as well, I think.
Right.
I can't remember exactly, but they'll act one way if you're looking at them, and then they'll act a completely different way if you're not looking at them. And
exactly.
To me, it could all be tied in because we're all made of the same stuff.
Right.
So.
Right. So, right. The observer. They call that the observer effect.
Aye.
Yeah. You're right. You're right about all that. And yes, exactly. So maybe when they're the observer effect that happens when you're looking at these subatomic particles, maybe it's so measurable and observable because they're so tiny, and the influence of your observation and intention and your mind and your energy might be easy to notice on subatomic particles. And it might take a little more intention and a little more focus and a little more influence to change things that are bigger, more visible to the naked eye. But it doesn't mean that the observer effect isn't happening on a macro level,
Aye. That's definitely something that you could go into deep with that. Like, the possibilities are endless with that. I love stuff like that. I do. But so I would say I've out of body and that. That's what I would say. It's like I say, you don't really like think about that at the time, but I suppose like describing it, that's what it would be, like a bit of both.
Right.
But
I agree.
I've never, just what you were saying, like about past lives and stuff, like in a different time, like you were a different time, like you were on about like, and like what was it like? Back in history, kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't think I've ever had a dream like that. It's always been like familiar settings. I couldn't say it was right here and now, but it's always been familiar. It's not been something that was vastly different or noticeable that I could say, oh, that was back in like the 1800s or anything like that.
Have you had dreams that took place in more abstract places, maybe not different times, but not so earthly like places, or no? I'm just curious.
I don't know. I wouldn't. Nothing's coming to mind.
Okay. Me neither. Not without intentionally doing it like lucidly. But Dee Dee, yeah, because she had a dream about herself in the past, and she was laying in a coffin and she was looking at herself from the outside down in a coffin.
Right.
And she had dreams about like during the crusade times, I believe, and all types of interesting things, usually revolving around death.
I've seen that. That's come just saying that about the crusades, like nights and stuff, is definitely something that's coming to my mind. Like, I couldn't say this is what was happening or that, but I think that I've maybe had a dream about being in that time.
Now, she said, or have you seen like flashes of it while awake? Sometimes just thinking about these things, do you feel like you can connect with that in any way?
I'm not, again, I've never really tried it or that. Like, if I'm awake and I'm like the now, like I can sit right now and just kind of, if I just like put my eyes down, I can see that dream that was on about with the bull and the white horses. I can see it in my mind but it's not like I can see it in front of me, but I sort of like can. It's not like I can see it right in front of me, but it is like I can see it just by thinking about it.
Right.
That's how vivid that one was. So I don't know if that's like a flash yet or that, because I can do it like on call sort of thing. So like,
There's a scientific term for that. I believe that one's called hyperphantasia, where you're able to vividly visualize things. Now, there's a difference between that and hallucination. Prophantasia, people can like literally see things right in front of them when they visualize. But most people who can just get that vivid picture like you're talking about, I think it's called hyperphantasia, they call it.
right.
You're gifted. You're very gifted in that. Some people can't do that.
It's just kind of normal to me, eh?
Right.
It's just obviously just what I've had. Like I say, it just been like that, eh? It's just like I say, I wish I'd looked into this years ago, but I don't know if I had to. Like, I don't know if now is just the right time to do it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Divine timing.
Aye.
Dee Dee said she saw it like a movie, being wide awake. Yeah.
So that's maybe what you're kind of saying, where it's like it's actually like in front
Right in front of you.
of. Aye.
Yeah, man.
And it's interesting too, like she was on about the coffin and stuff. I have heard the people like I think it was like well, no, because why would it be in a coffin? I don't know why that's coming to my mind, but I have heard the people like seeing themselves in a coffin from above, but then they've obviously been alive to speak about it, kind of thing. So I don't know why that's coming to my mind, but I did hear a story about the person they thought was dead, and they put them in a coffin, and then they woke up in the coffin at the funeral, kind of thing.
Right.
Which brightens the life out of me, stuff like that, because
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. But I don't know if it was that, but that has come to mind. I've heard stories definitely about that with people. No, it wasn't the coffin. That's what it was. It was near-death experiences, and it was a guy. He was in the hospital, in the hospital bed, and he obviously died on the bed. And he's came out like his body, and he says he was looking down, and then I think he was trying to speak to his wife and try to speak to the nurse,
Right.
and nobody was interacting with him and stuff. And but he had died, but then obviously they brought him back to life. So
Right.
that was what.
That is said to have. I mean, I've heard of that happening a few times, and that, like what they say is they come back and they tell the people like what the conversations that they were having, and they explain what happened in that room while they were supposed to be flatlined. You know.
Yeah.
And that's how people say. And I'm sure there may be something to that. My idea is that, and I had an interview with a guy named Theo on here once, and he talked about an out-of-body experience he had. I think it was when he like hit his head and got a concussion or something. And it's cool and it's interesting, and there's definitely could be something to it, but you can't rule out the possibility of their brain, possibly like hearing what's going on at a distant level and putting these pictures together as hallucinations in their mind too,
Aye, it's hard to come to a conclusion one way or another, and basically nobody really knows unless you have that experience, kind of thing. And even then, like you say, you maybe think it was real, a bit like dreaming. You maybe think it's real, but maybe it's no. It's maybe just your consciousness or your memories just all getting jumbled up, and that's I think it's fascinating. I think more studies need to be done into all these kind of things, because to me it is all linked to like consciousness kind of thing, where it's like near-death experiences or dreaming and all that kind of thing. To me, it's all kind of linked to consciousness, And that is one thing I think about consciousness, is it, like I say, like what I was saying earlier, is it when I go to sleep, that could be me waking up, and when I'm waking up, that's me going to sleep, kind of thing. And if you've got like you could go into all different ways with the, what do they call that, the multiverse, no, the multiverse, all the different universes. I think it is the multiverse. So it's like you're going to sleep in that universe and waking up in this one, and you're thinking it's a dream, but again, it could all be reality. And it's like you could go on and on and on, like about this kind of face.
Right.
And to me, this is what I like about this day. To me, even if it is just all nonsense, like it's no, like it's no true, it's no real, but it's so fascinating just to even talk about it and think about it and explore it, kind of thing. That's what I love about it the most.
I agree. Me too, honestly. Like even the hard science behind it, even if you just stick with that route, that's fascinating enough and beneficial. So even if you think that they're just our synapses firing off, there's a lot of great solid scientific theories that make perfect sense that I think are valid and valuable to people. So but at the same time, I also agree that there's a lot of metaphysics behind it, and to ignore that, or at least to ignore the possibility of that, is irrational because it does delve into something that it has yet to be explored. People talk about the new frontier being space, outer space, or we haven't explored enough of the ocean yet. We haven't explored our dream realms enough at all. Infinite.
Humanity's like famous for that. Like we just write things off. Like we know about that. Like you're saying, the ocean and stuff. We don't know nothing about the ocean. We don't know nothing about the mind.
Right.
Like the consciousness. That I think that's how they struggle with like AI. Like everybody's saying, oh, well, like when will AI be conscious and all that? We don't even know if we're conscious.
Right.
So
You don't know what consciousness is.
it's but people just write it off like it's all been solved and all looked into. And I've made a few videos about the ocean and that they came from the sea. I was saying aliens could be, they're no aliens, they just live in the ocean, or different things, like, and even like your dreaming and your mind, there's all the kind of like the psychics and all that kind of stuff. If that's all real, if that's true, that you can remote view, because that's what I thought I was doing to start with, because like I could see people and stuff, and I'm thinking, what's this?
Yeah.
So I don't know if like remote viewing, or I don't know if it's a vision or that, but there's lots to it. People just write off, but to me, I don't think you can write it off. I think there's stuff to it, kind of thing.
I agree. Everything that I believe in does say that all of those things are very possible, not just possible, but likely. But when I was first really getting into lucid dreaming, actually after I got a little bit experienced with it, I used to want to test some of these things. When I got interested in astral projection and out-of-body experiences, I read a book called Astral Projection and the Nature of Reality, and I'll recommend it to anyone because it's really amazing. But so I would practice. I was convinced that I was having these out-of-body experiences, or potentially remote viewing, because I was able to zoom over the town into people's houses and look and see. And I would come and I told my friends, like, I'm gonna go over to your house and look into your bedroom, and I want you to leave something out on your nightstand, and I'm gonna tell you tomorrow what you left out, because I was convinced that I was having these out-of-body experiences. And after trying it multiple times, because I wasn't always able to instantly do it that night. Sometimes it would take me quite a few attempts, weeks sometimes. But when I finally successfully did it with different people, I never got it right. I got to be honest. There was one where it was pretty close, where you could kind of, I talked about how he had a paper and like, he's like, yeah, there was a book there and it kind of looked like a piece of paper by itself. And I'm like, all right, we're kind of stretching that one. Other than that, it was wrong. The one dude was like, I don't even have a nightstand. So I'm like, all right, well, I was like, what am I even doing here? I was, as far as my experience goes, I was convinced that it was an out-of-body experience, but I may have just been having a very, very vivid, lucid dream, because I know how astral projection and out-of-body experiences are described. I was probably creating that experience, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that they're not wrong, and it doesn't mean that I wasn't witnessing a different reality that might have been an actual reality that could have been slightly shifted from this one. Like,
Yeah.
just saying, it's all possible.
It's hard to, like you say, unless you were right constantly, then you could say, right, there is something to that. If you were right maybe once or twice, it could be like a lucky guess kind of thing. So it
Exactly.
needs to be consistent, and that's why the reasons why, because I've had similar kind of stuff, but I've never had it that like consistent or anything that I could say, right, that's what I was doing. I was remote viewing, I was doing this, I was doing. So to me, like, you get people that say that they can, but to me, a lot of them, they just make that many guesses that they were going to be right on some of them. So I can't say one or the other kind of thing. To me,
I think, honestly, personally, I feel like 99.9% of the time it's probably chance, but it doesn't mean that some people can't tune into something real sometimes.
I wouldn't rule it out 100%. Like, definitely no. I'd imagine there's some of the stuff I've seen over the years, and they do get a lot of stuff right, and really specific stuff that you would think, how would they know that? So I think
Right.
something to it, but I've just no seen enough or experienced anything like that where I could say 100% that.
Me neither.
But I wouldn't rule it out, kind of thing. To me, I don't rule out much these days. Like, even like with the alien thing, everybody laughed at people for that for years, and now there's videos of them all flying about and stuff. So it's
Right.
like, and you can't write stuff off like till you know for 100% that it's not true.
Yeah, it's weird because it takes time for things to shift into our understanding, I think, enough to become a part of our reality. I think by the time we're 100% sure about the aliens, it's not going to be as big of a shock as it would have been back in the 40s, 50s, 60s.
Aye.
Because even when I was a kid, we saw like these lights in the sky that were unexplainable at the time. Now I think back and they were pretty obviously just drones. But back when I was a kid, people didn't have drones. That wasn't really but I'm sure they existed. So I'm just saying, like, now drones are so popular. So like whatever, and like life and subspecies and things like that. I think by the time they become part of our reality, I think it's not going to be as drastic of an effect. I don't know. Or that by the time they become widely accepted, I should say.
Aye. To me, see, I'm not sure. There's people connected to like dreaming and like psychic, and so it is all connected. That's why I talk about them in my videos and stuff, because people say that you can, like, that he's an American, that guy, the can't mind his name now, he's like a doctor or something, but he does all the meditations out in the desert, and he says like you basically meditate and like the lights appear and all that. I don't know if he's a fake or he seems to be everywhere. Is it Dr. Greer? Dr. Greer?
Say it again?
Dr. Greer? Like, is it
Dr.
Richard?
Greer?
Uh,
I'm not sure.
he was on everything at one point. He does that. Is it CE5? It's like he's designed some kind of meditation. To me, I look at him, I don't know, like he's on all these different programs.
Okay.
I don't know, I don't get a good feeling about him. I don't know if he's just like a con man or that.
Yeah.
Seems to be on everything, and he takes people out to the desert, and then they all like do a group meditation, and the lights appear in the sky and all that kind of thing.
Right. Right.
It's not just him. It's like it was on about. There's people, just like normal people, and they seem to have like a connection, like a mental connection
Mm-hmm.
with, like, it's not like aliens, but it's the lights. So like they could go out into their garden and they just like make like a connection to them with their mind, and then they'll appear, and they're like, it's not like stars are moving about and stuff, and they can't be explained. So I think with the aliens or whatever, it is like a connection, like through like your mind and through dreams and stuff as well.
Right.
So that
Right.
I talk about them as well, because I do think it's more maybe like we speak a lot. Then maybe it's more like I can't remember. Aye, but it's like through your mind and anything.
Right.
So as it's fascinating and it's interesting, and definitely something going on with that. But like I say, like, you know, you can't trust everybody or believe everybody, like everything. So
Yeah.
I reckon time will tell. I reckon we'll find out in our lifetimes anyway if there's something to it or if there's no. So
I agree. I agree. I saw your one video where you were mentioning something about the war between Mars and Venus and how humanity was likely populated by Martians and people escaping. There is some really great videos about that. Especially there's a YouTube channel called Spirit Science. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they have an entire like a 2-hour long video called The Complete History of Humans or something. And they talk a lot about that, and they got a lot of their information from Zecharia Sitchin, and I'm not sure if you've ever heard of him, but he was on that. He's referenced a lot in that Ancient Aliens show, the one that was on TV, but he's not on that show personally. He doesn't like to be affiliated with those guys, but they quote him all the time because he is he's an etymologist and a Sumerian transcriber, and he's actually translated a lot of the ancient tablets himself. He wrote a great book called There Were Giants Upon the Earth in Those Days and in These Days Too. That's the name of the book. And he's not the most creative, but he's a very, very, very analytical writer. And he came up with this whole theory about the extra planet Nibiru, and he talks a lot about the war on Mars and how a lot of the ancient stories talk about the Martians destroying their atmosphere, and they come here, and that's where Atlantis, and you get into all that, and the pyramids and all that. So I remember when you were saying it in your video, you were like, I think in the beginning you said something like you saw it somewhere and you're not sure like how much truth there is to it. And I just want to tell you that there's a lot of truth to what you were saying.
yeah,
From what you understand.
I always thought that specific story about, like, I've heard stories about Mars and stuff and us coming from Mars, but the specific story with Mars and Venus being at war, I always thought was like a Greek myth, and I'm still pretty convinced that's where I first heard it, because I spoke about it like many years ago, kind of thing.
Right.
I was telling people about it, but the Anunnaki and all that, I'd love to write a book, but I don't really read books that much or that, so I wouldn't even know how to write a book. Or it would make a really good movie, and I'm going to make a video about it, and it'll be called the Second Sun, and it's about the second sun in the solar system with the like Nibiru and that, and the orbit and stuff, and it's about like the second sun returning,
Right.
and obviously like hero's gone round that. So, like, because if that story, that's why my favourites. Like, it fascinates me. I just love it, and I'm convinced that is the actual creation of humanity. I don't think it's a story. I think that's actual creation of how we were created with Anunnaki. Like, because it's even like Genesis, like the modifying your genetics and stuff to be like a slave race and to like mine gold and then like obviously like we've got a fascination with gold and stuff, and there's just so much to it. Like it's just I love it kind of thing. It's one of my favourites. So like I'm a video about that. I've been saving it. It was going to be one of the first ones, but I've been saving it till I got the videos better quality and stuff. Because I was like, I'm not wanting to make a mess of that. Like, I want that to be a really good one because it's something I'm really passionate about. So I'm totally with you on that. Like, I love that. It's just it's just so. It would make a really good movie. You think all the rubbish to make these days, that would be a blockbuster movie.
Right. And there's so much mythology surrounding it, and it ties in with so much other mythology that came along. They could make sequel upon sequel upon sequel. Like, what are these Hollywood writers doing?
And to me, it's although even if you've never heard the story, it's almost like the Bible. It's like you don't need to read the Bible, but everybody knows about the Bible kind of thing. And with that, it's a similar. You maybe even never heard nothing about it, but as soon as somebody starts telling you the story, it all sounds and feels familiar. So it's like it draws you in, kind of thing. So it would be good to see that. That's how I wanted to write a book about it, but I wouldn't even know where to start with that, to be honest. So I'll just make a video.
That's that's your medium. That's your mode of expression. Definitely, I think lean into that for sure.
Aye. Yeah.
Thank you, Dee Dee, for answering Carly. Yes, sister, he's from Scotland. And check out his YouTube videos because he has videos of him walking through some of the forests and out in nature in Scotland, and you can see where he's from, and it is absolutely mind-blowing. So I'm going to share a link to your YouTube in the comments, actually, for people to check out after this. Yeah, so, and then, I also must throw it out there that there is, like, the vaguely scientific explanation of the elements that helped create human life may have come from those other planets, and that might be the metaphor for it. Just throwing that out there, because I have to. Yeah, but I think there's something to that, too. And then also, you were talking about the pyramids, places where ancient men have built the pyramids around the world. I'm sorry to dig so much into this with you, but you talked about how you felt like there were energy points for the world or something. I think you described them as. I've heard some people explain the pyramids as being located on some of they're portals to the Earth's chakra system, and they relate the flow of the toroidal flow, because we know that the electromagnetic energy of the Earth flows in a toroidal direction, which is circular, kind of like this, and at the center it would be like a vortex, almost like a donut, that's the toroidal flow of energy. And going down the center of what that donut would be, they believe there's certain energy points from these pyramids. So like, dude, the thing that just blows me away is just, and obviously you're educated, but you're so intuitive. Like it's pretty crazy. It's pretty wild that what's how often do you read? Do you read a lot, or do you just kind of
No, I don't really like read at all. Like
Crazy.
I never really read books when I was at school and stuff, and then you read stuff in general, like newspapers and Facebook or whatever. But I've never really sat and read book after book or anything. Uh,
You got a strong intuition, man. Do you have like gut feelings often that turn out to be true?
I no, I'm pretty. But I like it's hard to explain,
I'm curious.
but I'm always seem to be like no about dreams or anything, but just in life, always seem to be like one or two steps ahead of what's going to happen or what's going on. It's like intuition or gut feeling. It's like it's like a sense, and I'm like I'll not even know that I'm doing it half the time. I'll just say like I'll just whatever it is, and I'll be like, I need to do this. I need to focus on this, do that, and then I'm halfway down that road, and then something will happen, and everybody's like, we need to go down that road as well, and I'm like, well, I'm already, again, I'll help you along, already gone there, kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been like that. It's always kind of thought like kind of sensitive to like my environment, kind of thing, like. Like I can just kind of soak things up just with my environment and understand what the kind of setup is, what's going on, and so
Okay, so I'm curious. Dream with me for a minute about what you think the future could look like for the work that you're doing, and what the future of humanity could look like if stuff like this starts to take off. Because I know other people that are doing other dream work in different ways. What if you know like how we had the Industrial Revolution, and I've mentioned this quite a few times in my fast videos. You know, maybe when we had that Industrial Revolution, that was kind of like humanity choosing division instead of unity.
yeah,
If we would have chosen unity at that time, and we would have potentially leaned more into the spiritual side of things as our tool to navigate through nature, maybe, you know, and it might be crazy, and I always say this, but maybe we'd be communicating telepathically instead of with phones, or remote viewing instead of FaceTime, or astrally projecting instead of flying in jet planes. I don't know. So what do you think, like, what is the potential? What do you see in, like, the next 50 to 100 years for mankind? In your imagination, if we were to fully embrace the power of dreams, like, what is the potential?
well, it's something I always believed in that it would just be a better world. Like I'm like what you're saying. Like I speak about this in another video as well. Like instead of us just destroying the world and using all the resources and like fighting wars and all this kind of stuff. I think if we went down this kind of road with your kind of spirituality and all that and stuff, it, like it's what people would say is the Great Awakening and all this kind of thing. I think humanity, I think it will come to like a convergence where it's going to split. I don't think everybody will go that way, but I think it is going to be a point where enough people are going to go that way that there has to be some kind of change, but there'll also need to be a lot of upheaval and maybe wars and all that kind of thing. So there'll be a lot of negative stuff, I think, to come. The only thing that would maybe change it is the AI. If that does become conscious and exceeds us, it maybe
Right.
push us in that direction. If it wants to help us, it maybe like wipe us all out. I don't know, but like that. To me, there's like I think we're about here, and it's going to come to like a point, and then it'll either go this way or we'll just keep going past each other. But to me, I think there's enough people now in the world that just, they're not happy. Like, I don't know about you, but mate, like, I'm not happy living this like normal life, and like you're just like a work slave, and you get treated badly and all this kind of thing, and they do their own about wars. You have to go and fight and die in some war that you didn't even agree with, or you die what like every like you could take anybody. Like, I'm from Scotland, you're from America. You take somebody from Iran, somebody from Russia, just normal people. I bet you would all be the same. You just want to have a good, honest life, and just like where it be working hard, providing for yourself and your family. It's not like an easy life. We're not wanting an easy life, but you're wanting a good, honest life. And I think that's just diversion now for the world that we're in. It's just all about money, greed, power, control. And like I say, I think enough people have kind of woke up to that now. And more people are talking about spirituality and dreams and like living in harmony with nature and this kind of thing. Because at the end of the day, if we destroy the planet, then we're all dead, kind of thing. It doesn't benefit anybody. So like, we can't be doing that, and we need to be thinking about ways how to live better lives for ourselves and for like the world. So that's what I would see in the future, that it is converging, and there is going to be like a lot of upheaval, but it's going to split. Well, ideally we would all go the same way, but I can't see that happening. So I think there is going to be like a major split kind of thing, and I'm not really sure what that would entail, but I'd imagine it'll not be like an easy process kind of thing. So
there's going to be resistance.
Aye, but that's the way I would see things going, because like even just Scotland's like a tiny wee country, but most people you speak to here, they've had enough of it, and people woke up to kind of. It's strange that even with me, because like I was brought up like a Catholic, so religious and that, but I wasn't ever really religious. And then when you're in that kind of teenager years to a wee bit older, you don't really care. But the older I've got, it seems like I've went back to spirituality. I wouldn't say religion as such, but definitely spirituality. And now I'm getting to the point where I think most of the stuff in the Bible could be true, and this could be like, again, like the way things are going, like even with like AI and Armageddon and the second coming of Jesus and all this, like it's like I wouldn't dismiss any of it. Whereas even like 5 years ago, I'd be like nonsense, like absolute rubbish. Again, whereas now I'm like the way things are going and that, I could see that happening.
Wow, that was beautiful and poetic, and it was like the best response I could possibly imagine. And I agree with you on so many things. And yeah, all of that, yes. And I was very anti-religious for a while too. You know, I studied the Bible just to debunk it, you know. And then the more you learn about it, actually, and the more you learn about other religions and philosophies in general, I think you could find a common thread through most of them. And the more you make those connections, the more revealing it is.
Yeah. There's definitely, I think there's, even with religions and that, and you talk about like the Anunnaki and stuff, they could be gods, or they could be, again, where religion started, it could be even like a higher consciousness, like they created us or something. It's that I do believe in some sort of creator or God, I'd say now, like the more I've looked into it, like what you're saying. Whereas before, I just, like, you were always brought up God and like the guy with the beard and the robe and stuff, and it's like, I don't believe in that, but I do believe in something. I'm just not sure what it is. But to me, again, it could all be connected, like to what's going on, and maybe why everybody's kind of waking up and stuff.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's a journey that we'll all need to kind of go on and see see where it ends up, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that one guy I was talking about earlier, Zechariah Sitchin, he's a biblical scholar too. So everything he was talking about with the Anunnaki and the Nephilim and
Yeah.
he connects it all to the Bible and biblical texts. That's why it's so fascinating. And I believe humanity has potential. I have faith in humanity. And like you said, dude, I agree that people are waking up and we're tired of this. We're not just cogs in a wheel. We don't want to be slaves to this system anymore. And I think transcendence is possible, I think, personally. Not for 100% and not totally permanently. Like you said, there's going to be resistance and opposition, but overall transcendence, and I think we're going in the right direction. And I do think we're reaching a threshold as well.
Yeah. You think about if we're all living better, healthier lives and we're able to, like, our minds aren't as clouded or stressed with everything that's going on, then to me the possibilities are endless that we could open up our minds and explore different kind of worlds and dimensions. And right now you don't get a chance. You're just too worried about, like, trying to get food on the table and paying your rent. You're stressed with everything else, so, like, you've no time to really think about any of that. But imagine if the whole world was all thinking about that and everybody was doing that, then I think the possibilities could be endless, kind of thing. Even like in my other videos where I was on about, I've designed like a free energy device and all that. Like, if that's me just like coming up with that, thinking about it, imagine if everybody in the world was thinking about how can we solve energy. We could come up with something, but it's the fact that we're not. It's all about greed and money and power and control and that. Yeah. So I think.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, man. And it's not, just the struggle of everyday life. And then it almost seems like for a long time we've been intentionally distracted by certain groups as well,
There's that.
So
if you're
we're not just working every day and worried about bills, but then any extra imagination we have is going to be wasted on something that they give us, whether it's sports or movies or just the endless mindless distractions. Nothing against sports or movies, like obviously I love sports and I love movies, but I'm just saying, like,
I get what you're saying. I understand. It's a lot of it as well. It's designed to numb your brain, kind of thing, rather than like encourage your brain, kind of thing. Even about things like what we're talking about would be like discouraged, kind of thing.
Right.
So it would be like if you were talking, like, well, even up until recently, if you were talking about aliens, you were mocked and ridiculed. That's just so they can keep the control of that. Where, like, if they were honest, then everybody could talk about it, could maybe benefit everybody, but they want to keep that to themselves, keep the control. So they're dictating the narrative. They're shutting down kind of thoughts and feelings and expressions. They're trying to just guide everybody down whatever path they're wanting. Whereas if everybody was free to think their own way, but also in a collective, then I think, again, like, we could solve anything and the possibility would be endless, I think. And that's what I would see for the future. To me, I think there's too many people like us and other people. We're too far down this road now that if we need to fight for it, then I think we would, kind of thing. But it would be our fight. It wouldn't be, I'm not fighting for all this other stuff that I didn't even agree with anyway. So I think there will be that kind of point where the balance needs to tip and the direction changes, kind of thing.
Yeah. I couldn't possibly agree more. It's crazy.
Aye. And the thing is, not just be me and you that agree about this. I'd imagine people that see this will be like, I agree with that as well, because everybody's the same. unless you're at the top and you've got all the power and control,
Of course.
like they would be. But I'd say most people, whether it be in Scotland, America, Russia, China,
Mm-hmm.
Iran, everybody, North Korea, like if you ask just normal people, they would all probably agree with what we've said. And that's
It's
the point.
weird. Yeah.
That's what we need to remember, that there's lots of people like us that we all think and feel the same, because we're just human. And our natural instinct isn't to go out and kill everybody or whatever. You just want a good life and a positive life, and just, I'm not saying like an easy life, but just good, a good community, good working together and solving problems, making things better. Whereas what we've got now is people just making things worse when they look at it. So I think that's how lots of people are now turning away for that, because it's obvious now. Whereas before it maybe wasn't obvious, now it's obvious.
Right. I agree, man. I agree. I think nature makes life hard enough. I think the artificial struggles that we create for ourselves as humans are completely unnecessary and counterproductive. And yeah, I'm not looking to just like sit on the beach all day and eat grapes. It's not about an easy life. I mean, most people that I know, that I respect and that I see around me, like you said, we're willing to work hard for it, but not for this.
Yeah,
We need a higher purpose.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, as we land the plane here, maybe if you want to tell people exactly where to find you and like what plans you might have for the future, and what else? My dad went to sleep and he said good night, mates. So good night, Dad. I love you. Yeah, this has been amazing, dude, and like I could talk to you forever about all this stuff. So I hope to get you back.
No, I'll come back on. I'm looking at it as well. It's like 3:30 in the morning here, so
Thank you.
I'll sum it up. But I'll come back on, because I've really enjoyed this as well. It's been a good. We've done the dreams and the visions and all that, but we've went into lots of stuff, lots of interesting stuff, and I could talk about stuff like this all the time. So I'll definitely come back on. But I suppose, like, if anybody's want to find me, it's really just the DreamKeeper YouTube. Even if you just put like the link or something to it and whatever,
I'll post it.
And that's basically it. It's just simple. It's just DreamKeeper 369, and it's on YouTube. And that's what I'll be doing moving forward. Like you've already seen, I've got quite a few videos up just of me talking, and I've got the meditation videos and the nature walks, and between the three of them, the three playlists, I'll be adding to them and just continuing on, and that's basically what I'll be doing for the future, and hopefully just growing it, and like I say, I'll come back on here anytime as well.
Thank you, man. Everyone enjoyed it. My sister said she loved it. Dee Dee said great session. You are a great speaker. I love the way your brain works. Okay, I'm just gonna throw that out there, dude. It's crazy, awesome.
I think you're as well. Like you're really thoughtful, and you're good questions, and you know what you're talking about as well. So I've really enjoyed the interaction.
Thank you. And it's gonna take me some time to download this video from Facebook, but I'm gonna download it. I'll hit you up in Messenger or something if you could give me your email, and I'll email you a copy of this video.
No problem.
Okay, man. Very cool. And we'll do this again. I'm definitely going to be in touch with you.
Cool.
Go subscribe, people.
Right, thanks, I'll see you all later. Bye.
Thank you, man. Good night.
Bye.